You're watching White Mountains TV. We're in the White Mountains TV studios. I'm Chris Prue with David Swerk. He's the president and general manager of the Conway Scenic Railroad. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Oh, you're very welcome.
And lots to do on the Conway Scenic Railroad. You guys have, first of all, for someone who maybe has never stepped aboard the Conway Scenic Railroad, or maybe never even stepped inside that iconic train station in North Conway Village, give us a little overview. What is the Conway Scenic Railroad?
So the Conway Scenic Railroad is your opportunity to really step back in time and enjoy a railroad facility from 1874 that miraculously has survived into 2019. The Conway Scenic Railroad's been in business for 45 years, and we have three distinct ride offerings. We've got a 1 hour round trip to Conway. If you've got little kids at home and they have a little short attention span, that's the perfect ride for you.
Yep.
We've got an 1 hour and 3/4 ride to a Bartlett. If you want to take part in our fine dining, it's a little bit more leisurely pace and you get to enjoy some better scenery. But if you want the ultimate in train travel with Conway Scenic, it's the 5.5 hour ride up to Crawford Notch. And that's kind of like stepping back in time to the glory days of railroading, you know, back in the 50s and 60s when these trains were traversing the United States, but instead of doing it like in a week and a half, you're doing it in 5.5 hours. So that's a pretty good thing.
And that's through some of the most dramatic scenery, not only in this area, but anywhere on the East Coast. You're driving through notches and over some trestles that were engineering marvels in their time.
Yeah, they were. You know, when you look at like the Frankenstein Trestle, it's like you're floating on air because it's actually taller than the trees. So it's really an experience to be savored. And when you look at it, actually MSN for 2 years in a row has named us part of the top 20 railroad excursions in the world. So that's pretty awesome, and you can enjoy that here in North Conway at the Conway Scenic.
Great way to see scenery. It is a step back in time. I like just going into the train station. You hear the old-fashioned railroad music outside through the speakers and browsing around. It's like a little museum inside. You can just spend some time in there just kind of getting a taste of what yesteryear was like here in the Mount Washington Valley and railroading in general in the East. So it's a great way to see scenery, but if you like your train rides to have a destination, you guys have some great events coming up too that are going to bring people to fun places across the Mount Washington Valley.
Absolutely. So on August 31st, September 1st, that's our Rail Fans Weekend. Now, yes, it is geared towards people that really like trains, but it's also a family-friendly kind of event. And
you know
that's
who
what
really
we try
likes
to
trains?
support.
Kids.
Yes, absolutely.
They are the biggest railroad aficionados.
And what I've really noticed with that is since we brought steam locomotive operation back to the Conway Scenic, you see the pure joy on adults and children's faces as they're absolutely mesmerized by the locomotive. So on August 31st, we're going to be running a freight train special pulled by a steam locomotive. It's our locomotive 7470, former Canadian National 1921 steam locomotive. And then on Sunday, we're going to do a very long excursion covering all of the main Central Railroad's trackage that we control. So basically, it's over an 80-mile round trip. So if you want to have a real adventure, that's the one to go on.
So that is Rail Fans. If people, do they need reservations for this? I imagine this kind of thing books up early.
Yeah, actually, for really any of our events, it's smart to go to conwayscenic.com. You can book right there online, and that way you can save your place on the train because they do book very, very quickly.
All right, now going into, I believe, September, we've got the Johnny Appleseed Express.
Yeah, Johnny Appleseed Express is a new event that we're introducing this year, and we're stopping at the Densmore Orchard. And what we're trying to do is work with area businesses, area farmers, to go ahead and share the wonderful experiences that they can offer. And if you stop there, you'll go see how apples are picked. You can partake and purchase some apples, and you're supporting a local farmer and learning all at the same time. So it's really a great event.
And apples picking is so much fun here in the early fall in the Mount Washington Valley. Let's see, Pumpkin Patch, not too soon after that.
Yes, exactly. So the Pumpkin Patch Express and the Conway Scenic. What you'll enjoy there is the kids can come in their outfits, so that's a great thing.
Yep.
We have vintage vehicles down there with our employees in various costumes. So we have like our fire truck with the fireman, a police car with a police officer, and the whole thing is the kids get to take pictures with them and they get to interact with them and also get a little bit of candy. So it's kind of like a truck or treat event, except it's at a railroad.
That's a fun time. I've done that one before, and the kids love it, especially dressed up. And then you guys even work with some local theater companies to put on a whodunit show.
Yes, the murder mystery dinner trains. At the end of the day, these people are truly great actors because they're doing this on a moving train, and they will repeat the show for every car individually.
Wow.
So to try to do that and do it in such an amazingly convincing way, it's really something that you want to partake in.
And that is a dinner theater train,
yes,
right?
It is, yes.
And you guys are getting rave reviews for your cuisine on the train. Tell us a little bit more about dining on the Conway Scenic Railroad.
So dining this year, we've added a specialized car. It's actually named after my wife, Rhonda Lee, and it is a 1950s dome dining car. We actually had a wonderful adventure. We picked it up in Los Angeles and got to ride across the United States on it.
No kidding. That's
so
awesome.
Yeah, that was like a pinch yourself kind of moment.
Yeah.
Am I awake? Yes, I am. Oh,
Wow.
This is great. But the thing of that car is it has allowed us to hire a culinary team that actually cooks all the food on the train directly. So it's not like the Amtrak fare, where they cook in a big commercial kitchen and then they're microwaving it. Mm-hmm. No microwaves involved here.
Wow.
It's fresh food cooked by a great culinary team, served to you nice and hot. And that's the thing that you would find back in, again, the 50s or 60s,
Yeah.
when railroads really cared about their passengers. And that's what we want to exemplify here, is that our guests are extremely important to us.
Well, once upon a time, trains, railroads were the way to get people to and from places. Obviously, the ski trains brought people up from Boston and really, created this town of North Conway. And it's nice to see you kind of tapping that heritage and bringing railroad travel back to the Mount Washington Valley. Not just for scenic rides, but you're really connecting businesses here in the valley.
Yeah, and we're continuing with that process. Last year we added a stop at Attitash, mm-hmm. and what that allows is for our guests to be able to get off the train, enjoy the amenities at the mountain, and then go back to North Conway. Or people that stay at Attitash Mountain Village can come to North Conway, enjoy the amenities here, and then have a train ride back. So we like to take care of our guests and give them what they desire. So.
All right, lots in the works. The train travel keeps getting bigger and more at Conway Scenic Railroad. David Swerk, General Manager and President of the Conway Scenic, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Oh, you're very welcome.
And if people want more information, they can check out your website. What's the address?
ConwayScenic.com.
All right, we'll be back with more on White Mountains TV.